What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Collider Studio at Sundance 2024. I'm so happy to be doing this interview with the team behind It's What's Inside. I'm obsessed with your movie. I haven't stopped thinking about it. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So before we get into our conversation, I have to give a very special shout out to the fine folks at Filmio for sponsoring our Sundance studio this year. Big thanks to them. And also they are a very impressive company that is breaking barriers by putting the power to greenlight movies in the hands of fans and creators. If you want to learn more about Filmio and their community, check out their website, film.io. Okay. I'm giving you these duties because I'm afraid to spoil anything. Just in case our viewers do not know what It's Inside is just yet, It's What's Inside yet, can you give them a brief description of the film?
Yes, It's What's Inside is about a pre-wedding party between 8 old college friends where one estranged friend shows up, played by this gentleman right here, and he brings a suitcase, and the suitcase unlocks what we're calling an existential nightmare. The movie itself is an examination of the male gaze, the commodification of relationships, and the sort of how the over-sexualization of our media affects both sides of a relationship.
A+ job without going too far. I'm mighty impressed. So this is your first feature, and that is a very, very big deal. 2 questions about that. Can you tell us one thing you did that was helpful and helped make this movie a reality? But then also, can you pinpoint a roadblock that you came across by this being your first film and tell us how you overcame it?
Oh, sure. I mean, roadblocks, I think just kind of getting it made, funded. Like I wrote it back in 2016, and there were it just had a series of fits and starts, really, and just kind of getting someone to sort of believe in it and then getting it financed. It was just one of our producers, Kate, gave it to another producer, Raul, who gave it to Coleman Domingo, who gave it to another producer, and that's essentially how Bill Rosenfeld, which is ultimately how it got made. But it was just really like perseverance and just kind of not giving up, I guess. But there were really many times when I really just didn't think it was going to happen. Definitely didn't think we'd be here. So sorry, and I forgot your first question.
Oh, something good you did, something that you did that helped make the movie a reality, and maybe even something that you would recommend to another first-time feature filmmaker who wants to make their first film.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it's just don't give up, really. I mean, don't give up. Keep, you go through a lot, or I feel like most filmmakers go through a lot of rejection in trying to get that first thing made. Maybe people will tell you that they like your script, but they don't want to make it. In this case, I was told that it was too confusing. It was very confusing. So yeah, you just have to just kind of persevere and stick through, I guess.
I don't know if you'll be able to answer this next question
Okay.
while avoiding spoilers,
I'm
but
excited
because
now.
you brought up you started working on this in 2016, what would you say is the biggest difference between draft 1 of this screenplay and the finished film?
Oh, that's a good question.
If you need to pass, I understand.
I guess I'll say the biggest difference is the nature of David's character. That's so vague.
No, I'll take that tease.
Yeah.
I'll take that tease. I look forward to this getting a distributor at this festival and following you like everywhere you go. So we'll have an opportunity to have a spoiler conversation eventually.
Great. I look forward to it.
It is Make Greg Blush time. So again, this is his first feature film. I have very high hopes he's going to go on to direct many more. Can each of you tell me something about him as an actor's director and leader that you appreciated and you're excited for more actors to experience in the future?
Sorry, were you about to say something?
No.
We had a week of rehearsal before we started shooting, and that's super rare. And the fact that he factored that in was really, really special and really helpful for what happens in this movie. And and also just like your vision was so clear, and I think just showing up, we all immediately kind of trusted this, seeing the set, seeing like everything come to light. Like you knew exactly what you were doing, and I feel like that was really, really exciting to work with a director like that.
He's also so supportive in letting us really take risks and big chances, even things that don't make it into the film. Sometimes he would let us go way further and improvise and take a lot of chances just so we could kind of build this team. And Just an incredibly supportive, good person that made us all, I think, feel really safe when we were working with him.
I think also he really lives the scene with you. Like you'll turn around and you'll finish the scene and he's like smiling and beaming and he's excited for the next moment. He's like, maybe we could try this or we could try that. And as an actor, you never feel like you're disappointing him. You always feel like there's more. So you're craving more from yourself to go deeper and to explore. And I don't know. We walked every day. We all fell in love with each other, but it was through it all starts from the top. So. Yeah,
he's having so much fun when he's directing. I mean, like he's his first audience, so he's so psyched about everything we're doing. Like it feels like we're performing for him the whole time.
Does he have a monitor dance? Like something he does behind the monitor that signals to you he's loving a take?
I do like a high pitched yelp.
Giggles.
Often, like a woo. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get this crazed look in your eye, and you're just like, yeah, guys. That's what I love about Greg. He's just so enthusiastic and so passionate, and it just brings such a good energy to the set. We're all just so happy to be there because he's so happy. It's magical.
It's fun. Thank you.
It being such an ensemble piece too, like there's opportunities where maybe you could get lost in an ensemble, but Greg was always really attentive to everyone. Like each of us, I feel like had one-on-ones that were so crucial to developing our characters and knowing where we were, what we were doing. Long conversations about that. I mean, early on, I didn't really know how to make a sense of the script because there was so much going on, and sitting down with you, I was like, oh, this guy really knows what he's doing, and that just. It felt that way throughout the whole shoot. Like you were the North Star where like there was always a clear sense of we were going in the right direction because you knew, even if we were getting a little delirious at 4 a.m.
I think you. Oh, go ahead.
No, Brittany.
You guys are so polite.
I think one thing, you get your best work, or you do your best work when you're comfortable and you feel safe. And just as to piggyback off of what everybody's saying is, the other thing I think that Greg has done brilliantly was, when we were in the rehearsal process, I think a brilliant director also has trust in their actors and takes a step back and observes. And he felt confident enough in our abilities, and we all had to trust each other in this process without giving anything away. And he gave us direction, he observed, and it's almost like, I would describe it as like a scientist watching something kind of like unfold and knowing like you created something and he allows it to grow, or I'm not a scientist, but he's
Greg's a mad
Greg
scientist,
is in the art. And so I thought that was it allowed us to flourish and create these grounded, realistic characters and to create these bonds. He created a great moment for James and I to create this relationship, and that's kind of a thread throughout the story. So and it was so empowering to work with a director like Greg and to work with the people that he chose to be on this film. I mean, he has great taste.
I also just thought it was really incredible and impressive the way that like there would be a million things going on. You'd be figuring something out with this big crazy house we're in and setting up some insane shot that takes you all across the entire property, and all the while through all that you'd still have the time to stop and talk to us about a moment, or there would be like the 3 a.m. phone calls of like, let's talk about this thing, or stepping into your office and there's Hawaiian music playing, and and sending us like, oh, listen to this song. I just think it was like the fact that you were really able to give everyone the attention that they needed, all the while addressing the million of other things going on, I think is a testament to your capabilities as a director.
How you feeling?
Thanks, guys. Oh, you guys made me blush. She said it would happen. It happens.
Success.
Yeah.
I'm glad you were all very good at passing the mics around, because I have another big group question. Obviously, we don't want to spoil anything, but I do want to take a moment to tease your characters a little bit. Can each of you tell me your character's greatest strength at the beginning of the film, but then I also want to know their greatest weakness, the thing that could do them in this wild situation that unfolds?
I'm gonna keep it super vague, but
Yeah.
Brooke's greatest.
I'm like bursting at the seams right now, like just so eager to shout to the world about all the, because like you keep saying like people found it confusing. I feel like it's just so appropriately disorienting for the first half of the movie, and then you start using these visual techniques that everything comes together like so seamlessly, and of course through your performances as well. So it's like it's important that it had that quality, but you get the balance there.
Yeah, we just try to juggle what we called like good confusion versus bad confusion. Good confusion is what I refer to as like I'm a huge David Lynch guy. Like his stuff is confusing in the best way for me. And then there's bad confusion where you're just like, man, I don't know what's like. I'm like I've disconnected from this experience. So hopefully it's not the bad stuff. But anyway, Reina,
Good
please.
confusion.
Yes.
I think Brooke, her greatest strength is that she has a lot of energy.
Yes.
The weakness is definitely insecurity. She just really wants to be loved, and she'll do the wrong things for it, I think.
Good answer.
I think Shelby's strength comes through evolution of her ability to observe situations. And I think she grows from a point of weakness where she settles for less than she deserves.
I think Forbes' greatest strength is the love that he carries for all of his friends, and I think that he'll do anything to bring them back into his life, and I think his downfall is his hubris.
That's good. Hubris.
Hubris. Yeah, I don't know.
No, that was great.
Yeah.
You guys are doing great.
I would say Ruben's greatest strength is to be the sun in a room where he can brighten everyone's day. He can make you feel
Beautiful way
like.
to describe him.
Oh, thank you. not how I describe myself, but I would say his greatest weakness is also that he feels potentially that his personality is built off the basis of how his mother was, and the pressure of living underneath his the huge personality of his mother.
Great. Man, you guys are good. Glad no one asked me this question.
I feel like Dennis's strength is probably his ego. He's really built a very strong personality to protect himself from the world and his privilege, and his insecurity is probably like that soft jelly center of who he really is that he doesn't want anyone else to see. He's a tough guy, but not really.
I think Maya's greatest strength is the acceptance of others. She accepts everyone. She's super warm, and I think her weakness is I think she doesn't quite know who she is. I think she's like on a journey, trying to figure it out, and yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, what's his greatest strength? I don't know if he has necessarily that many. Cyrus has many strengths.
His ability to stretch out a sentence.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, I think Cyrus's greatest strength is that he's trying to make it work with his relationship with Shelby, but in doing so, he's extremely dishonest and is never really willing to say what he means. And so that's his greatest weakness, is that he's always hedging and he can never commit to what he wants, so he can never really commit to the relationship he's in. And so he's always kind of half in, half out throughout the whole movie, and he gets his comeuppance for it.
I'll end with another group question that doesn't have to stress you out in terms of spoilers, but I will say those were good descriptions, and hopefully everyone out there gets a sense of, like, I don't know, the pieces on the game board and how they could be shuffled around through all of this. So Greg, a lot of your director statement was all about the idea of, the appeal of being able to escape reality through sci-fi movies and getting the opportunity to experience the impossible through them. So for each of you, can you name like a sci-fi or any genre movie that you would want to step into and experience the impossible that movie presents?
Whoa.
How do you choose one?
I think about this a lot. I learned nothing from Jurassic Park. I want to walk into that movie and make a dinosaur.
I mean, I feel like my go-to answer is Blade Runner.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's mine.
I mean,
Yeah.
E.T. would be cool because then I have like a little alien friend, you know, and that would be really nice.
I really like The Arrival. So piggybacking off of like aliens. Well, like I just think
Arrival.
it's Arrival.
Yeah.
Sorry, Arrival. Because I like the whole aspect of, you know, the aliens actually being there to bring everyone together, even though it's terrifying. But it was like my first sci-fi movie I actually really connected with because there was that emotional component.
Spirited Away. Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
That'd be so cool. I would love
See
to
that
just
coming. I love that answer.
be a Chihiro. Like, that'd be great. Yeah.
Devin, go.
No, because all I've got is Attack the Block in my head right now. Because I'm just like, oh, it's just such a cool world, and I just love that film. So I was just like, this is crazy, but I don't think I would want to be on that world. So I'm like, yeah.
As deadly as that scenario is, I don't care. That movie rocks.
It
I would
rocks, yeah,
definitely
yeah.
want to like see how I would do against those aliens.
Yeah, same.
I don't know. I feel like most sci-fi that I can think of right now is like it highlights all the kind of worst parts of humanity and how it's, you know, how we're sort of doomed. Not to get gloomy, you know, but I don't know. Maybe like Eternal Sunshine or something. That feels like that could be a helpful thing, you know, at a couple moments in my life. I'd be like, yeah, it'd be great to just put all that in a bag and get rid of that.
I'm with David. I can only think of I love movies about dystopian societies. Like, I love that stuff, but I don't think I necessarily want to live there. So I guess like any movie where like dogs talk.
Also a very good answer.
Yeah, I'm a big Blade Runner fan too. I think that would be.
I'll go Blade Runner 2049, so we don't have the same answer.
I'll go to the OG. Yeah.
Fair enough. All excellent selections, and seriously, it's what's inside. Phenomenal film. I am obsessing over it. I can't wait to watch it over and over and analyze every single detail of your performances and the world you build overall. I'm rooting for you. All the best, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
A big thanks to everybody out there watching. Thanks to our sponsor, Filmio, and stay tuned for more from Sundance 2024.